God says, don't ignore this message tonight. There is someone you need to pray for before you sleep. Before tonight comes to an end, before the clock reaches 11:55 p.m., pause for just a moment. Do not rush past this message. Not because something terrible will happen, but because your heart may need this reminder more than you realize. My beloved child, there is someone on your heart tonight. Perhaps you have not spoken their name aloud. Perhaps you have not even admitted how much you have been thinking about them. But I know every silent prayer, every hidden concern, every tear that never reached another person's eyes. Tonight, I am not asking you to worry. I am asking you to pray. Because prayer changes the one who prays. It softens the heart. It restores hope. It reminds you that you are never carrying life's burdens alone. My child, there are moments when people around you are fighting battles you cannot see. Someone is smiling while quietly carrying pain. Someone appears strong while secretly feeling exhausted. Someone is asking for help without ever speaking a word. That is why I want you to slow down tonight. Not to fear, but to notice. Notice the people who have stood beside you. Notice the ones who may need kindness more than advice. Notice the person you have not prayed for in a long time. Perhaps a family member. Perhaps a close friend. Perhaps someone with whom your relationship has become distant. Do not allow pride or old wounds to keep your heart closed. Sometimes the greatest miracle begins with one sincere prayer. You may never know how one moment of compassion can change another person's life. Before you sleep tonight, release every distraction. Take one slow breath. Quiet your thoughts. And ask yourself, who needs my prayer tonight? Do not force the answer. Simply listen. Because a heart that becomes still often hears what constant noise can never reveal. Stay with me. There is something even deeper I want to show you about the quiet power of prayer, and why this night may become the beginning of healing, not only for someone else, but for you as well. The prayer that can change two hearts. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. Do not let your mind wander. Because what I want to place on your heart tonight is not a burden. It is a blessing waiting to be discovered. Many people believe that prayer is only for moments of crisis. Only for the days when life begins to fall apart. But prayer was never meant to be your last option. It was meant to be your first response. Before you search for answers, pray. Before you allow fear to take control, pray. Before you give up on someone, pray. Because every sincere prayer carries hope, even when you cannot immediately see the result. My child, there is someone connected to your life who may never tell you how much they need encouragement. They laugh in front of others. They continue with their responsibilities. They tell everyone, I'm fine. Yet deep inside, they are carrying questions no one else can hear. Do not judge people by what they choose to show. Many of the strongest smiles hide the deepest struggles. That is why kindness is never wasted. A gentle word, a thoughtful message, a quiet prayer may become the very thing someone remembers when they needed hope the most. Tonight, instead of asking, "Who has disappointed me?" ask yourself, "Who needs compassion from me?" That one question can transform the atmosphere of your heart. My beloved child, forgiveness does not always begin with a conversation. Sometimes it begins with a prayer. Not because the past suddenly disappears, but because your heart finally becomes free from carrying its weight. You cannot change yesterday. You cannot rewrite every painful memory. But you can decide what you will carry into tomorrow. Choose peace. Choose mercy. Choose love. Not because others have earned it, but because your own heart deserves freedom. There is a quiet strength inside every person who chooses compassion when resentment would have been easier. And that strength will shape your future far more than anger ever could. My child, before this night ends, think of one person. Just one. Lift their name in a quiet prayer. Ask for wisdom. Ask for peace. Ask for healing. Ask that hope would find them exactly where they are. You may never know how that simple act of faith can ripple through someone's life. Sometimes the greatest miracles begin in complete silence, long before anyone sees the outcome. Stay with me, because there is something even more beautiful I want to reveal about the incredible power of praying, not only for yourself, but for someone else. Someone needs your prayer more than you realize. My beloved child, remain here with me. Do not let this moment pass too quickly. There is something your heart needs to understand before this day comes to an end. You often ask me, "God, why do I feel this burden?" Sometimes the burden you feel is not meant to frighten you. Sometimes it is an invitation to pray. Not every battle is visible. Not every wound leaves a mark. There are people walking through your life every day who are silently asking for strength without ever speaking a single word. That is why I ask you tonight. Do not only look with your eyes. Look with compassion. Listen with patience. Love without expecting anything in return. My child, the world has become very loud. Everyone is rushing. Everyone is chasing something. Yet so few people stop to notice the lonely heart standing beside them. A simple conversation. A kind smile. A sincere prayer. These things may seem small, but they can become life-changing moments. For someone who has almost lost hope, never underestimate the power of being present. Sometimes people do not need perfect answers. They simply need to know someone truly cares. Tonight, think about the people I have placed in your life. Your family. Your friends. Someone you work with. Someone you have not spoken to in a long time. Do not assume they are doing well, simply because they never complain. Many people carry their heaviest burdens in complete silence. My beloved child, when you choose to pray for another person, something beautiful begins to happen. Not only does their heart receive hope, your own heart begins to heal as well. Bitterness slowly loses its strength. Fear begins to fade. Peace quietly takes its place. This is why I never ask you to pray only for yourself. Love grows when it is shared. Hope grows when it is given away. Faith grows when it is lived every day. My child, there may be someone who hurt you deeply. Someone whose words still echo in your mind. Someone you never expected would disappoint you. I know that pain. I saw every tear. I heard every silent question. But do not allow yesterday's wounds to decide tomorrow's peace. Forgiveness is not saying that what happened was right. Forgiveness is choosing not to let yesterday continue controlling your heart. You deserve peace. You deserve freedom. And sometimes, that freedom begins with one quiet prayer for the very person you never thought you could pray for. That is not weakness. That is strength. Real strength. The kind that changes hearts. The kind that changes lives. Before you close your eyes tonight, ask me this simple question. Lord, who needs my prayer the most today? Then listen. Do not rush the answer. Do not force your thoughts. Simply be still. Because a peaceful heart can hear what a busy mind cannot. Stay with me. Because in the next part, I want to show you how one small act of faith can create blessings far beyond anything you can imagine. The prayer you whisper tonight may become someone's strength tomorrow. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. Do not let your heart become distracted, because what I want to share with you tonight may stay with you long after this message ends. Many people believe that the greatest acts of faith must always be seen by others. But some of the most powerful moments happen in complete silence. A quiet prayer. A humble heart. A few moments spent remembering someone else's pain. These things may seem small to the world, but they are never small in my eyes. My child, never underestimate the difference one faithful prayer can make. There are battles you cannot see. There are tears no one else notices. There are hearts quietly asking for hope, while smiling through another ordinary day. That is why I ask you, before you sleep tonight, slow down. Turn away from every distraction. Set aside every worry about tomorrow. And simply listen. Not to the noise around you, but to the peace I have been placing inside your heart. Sometimes, the person who needs your prayer is someone very close to you. A parent who carries responsibilities without asking for help. A friend who laughs with everyone while silently fighting fear. A brother, a sister, a neighbor, or even someone you have almost forgotten. Do not wait until someone asks for your prayers. Sometimes love moves first. Sometimes compassion arrives before the words are spoken. My beloved child, never believe that kindness is wasted. Every encouraging word, every patient conversation, every moment you choose understanding instead of judgment, plants a seed that may one day grow into hope for another person. The world teaches people to think only about themselves. But I am calling you to notice others, to love generously, to forgive freely, and to pray faithfully. Because when your heart begins to care for someone else's burdens, it also becomes stronger, healthier, and more peaceful. My child, think back to the people who showed you kindness when you needed it most. Perhaps one conversation changed your direction. Perhaps one prayer helped you continue when you felt like giving up. Now, you have the opportunity to become that encouragement for someone else. Do not think you must have perfect words. You do not need a perfect prayer. Speak honestly. Speak with love. Speak with faith. I hear every sincere word, even when your prayer is nothing more than, Lord, please help them. That simple prayer, offered with a genuine heart, is precious to me. Do not allow fear to become louder than faith. Do not allow worry to become stronger than hope. Choose peace. Choose compassion. Choose prayer. Because every time you place another person into my hands, you are also learning to trust me with your own life. Stay with me, because the next part will reveal why the blessings you are praying for often begin by becoming a blessing to someone else. The blessing you are waiting for may begin with the prayer you offer tonight. My beloved child, stay with me. Do not leave this moment behind too quickly, because there is something your heart needs to understand before this night comes to an end. Many people spend years asking, God, when will you answer my prayers? When will my life begin to change? When will I finally feel peace? Those are honest questions, and I have heard every one of them. But tonight, I want you to see something differently. Sometimes, the blessing you are waiting for begins the moment you become a blessing to someone else. My child, think about every person who encouraged you when you felt weak. Someone who believed in you when you struggled to believe in yourself. Someone who prayed for you without ever expecting anything in return. Someone who reminded you that hope was still alive, even when your own heart could no longer see it. Those people were gifts, not because they were perfect, but because they chose to care. Now, I am inviting you to become that kind of person. You do not need great wealth. You do not need perfect words. You do not need every answer. You only need a willing heart. A heart that chooses kindness, even when the world chooses indifference. A heart that chooses forgiveness, even when pride whispers otherwise. A heart that chooses prayer. Even when no one else knows you are praying. My beloved child. Never believe that your prayers disappear into silence. Every sincere prayer, offered with love, has purpose. Even when you cannot see immediate results. Seeds planted today do not become trees overnight. Yet they continue growing. Even beneath the surface. Faith often works the same way. What you cannot see today may already be preparing tomorrow's blessing. My child, do not become discouraged. If life seems slow, growth often happens quietly. Healing often begins before you recognize its first signs. Hope often returns long before circumstances begin to change. Trust the process. Trust my timing. Trust that every prayer, spoken with sincerity, has value. Tonight, before you close your eyes, pray for someone who cannot repay you. Pray for someone who may never know you remembered them. Pray for someone who feels forgotten. Pray for someone who has almost lost hope. Because love is never measured by recognition. Love is measured by the willingness to give without expecting anything in return. My beloved child, one day you may discover that the person whose life changed because of your prayer also became part of the answer to one of your own prayers. That is how grace often works. Quietly, patiently, beautifully. So tonight, do not allow fear to guide your thoughts. Do not allow anxiety to steal your peace. Choose faith. Choose compassion. Choose hope. And choose to place every burden into my hands. Because when you trust me, you make room for peace to enter your heart. Stay with me, because the next part will reveal why some of life's greatest miracles begin with one quiet moment of complete surrender. Surrender what you cannot carry, and receive the peace you have been searching for. My beloved child, you have stayed with me until this moment. That tells me something beautiful about your heart. Even after every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, every difficult season, you still desire my presence. Hold on to that faith, because hope is one of the greatest gifts I have placed within you. My child, you were never created to carry every burden by yourself. Yet so often, you try. You replay every conversation. You imagine every possible outcome. You worry about tomorrow, while forgetting the strength I have already given you for today. Do not exhaust your heart by fighting battles that have not even arrived. Instead, take this moment. Breathe slowly. Let your thoughts become still. Let your heart remember that I have never abandoned you. Even when you could not feel my presence, I was walking beside you. Even when you believed no one understood your pain, I understood every silent tear, every restless night, every prayer whispered, when no one else was listening. My beloved child, there were moments when you thought you had reached the end of your strength. Yet somehow, you found the courage to keep moving. That courage did not come from fear. It was growing quietly, through faith. Even when your faith felt small, it was enough to carry you one more step. Never underestimate the strength of a heart that refuses to stop trusting. My child, do not compare your journey with anyone else's. Some flowers bloom early, others bloom later. Yet each one is beautiful in its own season. Your life is unfolding according to a purpose you cannot fully see yet. So stop believing that you are behind. Stop believing that everyone else has already reached the place you were meant to be. Your story is still being written. Trust the author. My beloved child, there are prayers you spoke months ago that I have not forgotten. There are tears you cried in silence that were never invisible to me. There are dreams you almost gave up on that are still alive, even if you cannot see them today. Never mistake silence for absence. Just because you cannot see everything I am doing does not mean I am doing nothing. Sometimes the greatest work takes place beneath the surface, just as roots grow unseen before the tree begins to rise. Your life is no different. Tonight, release every fear you have been carrying. Release every regret that still weighs upon your heart. Release every anxious thought about tomorrow. You cannot change yesterday. You cannot control every tomorrow. But you can choose to trust me today. And that choice will bring peace into places fear has occupied for far too long. Before you sleep tonight, whisper this simple prayer. Lord, teach me to trust you, even when I cannot understand. Teach me to love, even when it feels difficult. Teach me to forgive, even when my heart still hurts. And teach me to become a source of peace for everyone you place in my path. That prayer, offered with an honest heart, can begin changing your life from the inside out. Stay with me, because the final part will bring every promise together and remind you why you have never walked alone, not even for a single moment. Before you sleep tonight, leave every burden with me. My beloved child, if you have stayed with me until this moment, then let these final words rest gently upon your heart. This message was never meant to create fear. It was never about a deadline. It was never about the clock reaching 11:55 p.m. It was always about giving your heart a quiet moment to remember that you are never alone. My child, before you close your eyes tonight, do not carry today's burdens into tomorrow. Lay them down. The worries you cannot solve, the questions you cannot answer, the pain you cannot explain. Place them gently into my hands. You were never created to carry everything alone. I have always been with you. On the days you smiled, and on the nights you cried, when you celebrated victories, and when you silently wondered if anyone truly understood your heart. I was there. I am still here. And I will never leave you. My beloved child, there is someone who came to your mind while listening to this message. Perhaps it was a family member, perhaps a friend, perhaps someone you have not spoken to for a very long time. Do not ignore that thought. If your heart is willing, pray for them tonight. If possible, send them a kind message. Offer forgiveness. Speak encouragement. You may never fully understand how deeply one act of love can touch another person's life. Sometimes, the greatest miracles begin with the smallest act of faith. A prayer, a kind word, a phone call, a forgiving heart. These simple moments often become the beginning of healing. My child, life will continue to bring challenges. Some days will fill your heart with joy. Other days will test your patience. But never allow temporary circumstances to steal your lasting hope. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Not because life is always easy, but because you never walk alone. Every season has a purpose. Every delay can teach patience. Every challenge can build strength. And every sincere prayer draws your heart closer to peace. Tonight, take one slow breath. Thank me for the blessings you already have. Thank me for the strength you did not know you possessed. Thank me for every door that opened, and even for the ones that remained closed. Because sometimes the blessings you never received were the very things that protected you. My beloved child, before you sleep, pray for the person who came into your heart tonight. Ask me to surround them with peace, to give them wisdom, to strengthen them, to remind them that they are deeply loved and never forgotten. Then, rest. Not with fear, not with anxiety, but with confidence. Because tomorrow is another opportunity to love more deeply, to forgive more freely, to live with greater faith, and to become the person I have been shaping one day at a time. Never forget this truth. You are seen. You are loved. You are not forgotten. Even when life feels uncertain, my love remains constant. My grace remains sufficient. And my peace is always available to every heart that chooses to trust me. If this message touched your heart, take a quiet moment to thank God in your own words. And if someone came to your mind while listening today, pray for them. Before you sleep tonight, your prayer may become the answer to a hope they have carried for a very long time. May God's peace guard your heart. May His wisdom guide your steps. May His love strengthen your spirit. And may tomorrow bring new hope, new courage, and new reasons to trust Him again. God bless you, and good night.